Okay, not enough lubrication. Our new Mainstays 9-inch high velocity fan here does not have enough lubrication, and it needs to be balanced. So we are going to service this fan. We're going to balance and service this fan. First thing you're going to do is you want to grab your screwdriver. Now, I like to use my DeWalt, so that's what I've always used. And what we're going to do, look at that. The screw actually came out nice and easy for once. So we're going to do the same on the other 3 screws here. And there we go. So now the front guard is going to come off nice and simple, just like this. So it just simply lifts right off. And now we have access to the motor. And also we are now able to balance the fan. But before we go and balance the fan, we're going to go ahead and take the blade off the motor shaft here so we can oil the motor, because the fan did not have enough lubrication. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take my hex key right here and I'm going to insert it into the set screw. And what we're going to do is just like this. So you're going to insert it into you're going to go ahead and insert your set screw, or you insert your Allen key into the hex screw. And now what you're going to do is you're just going to move your screw. We're going to try to see if we can loosen the set screw here, because they put it on ridiculously tight. And if this doesn't work, or if it breaks my hex screw, my Allen key, then what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take the front yoke out, so that way the whole blade, along with the front yoke and the armature, comes straight out of the motor. So, also you want to be able to get a good grip on your set screw as well. So we're going to try to hold the blade nice and still. Let's start doing this. And there we go. So the set screw came loose. So yes, you really got to give them a tug sometimes. And what we're going to do is we're going to loosen the set screw just enough so that way the blade will come right off the drive shaft. Oh, come on. Okay. So it seems to me here, these fans, they aren't lubricated enough when they leave the factory. And that I have a big problem with, because then it's going to wear out the motor. And I paid about $17 for it. So it's rather expensive, but these are pretty much just like the Lakewood HV9. So I think there are kits you can get for your screwdrivers, or if you have a DeWalt like mine. All right. And there we go. So our blade just simply comes right off. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and I'm going to take my impact driver here. And the first thing you want to do is you want to take out these 2 screws right here. And you're going to remove your front yoke. So now that these two front screws are out, the front yoke simply comes right off, along with your armature. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put it in order of disassembly here. So we have our front yoke right here, which we're going to set off to the side, and the armature. So now what we're going to do is we're going to remove these 4 screws here, which is going to allow us to access the rear part of the motor. So we're going to go ahead and do that as so. And the motor just comes out like that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put our fan like this. And we'll just let our motor rest like that. And what we're going to do, if you can see this right here, this is our lubricate. This is our rear bearing here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of oil, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put the oil right inside the rear bearing here. I'm also going to lubricate the sleeve as well, since this is a sleeve type bearing. And now what we're going to do is we're going to reinsert it onto the back of the motor like this. So now that our rear is in, what we're going to do is we're going to reinsert. Oh boy. Alright, so what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to insert our motor like that for right now. And we are going to now lubricate the front. So we're going to lubricate the drive shaft as well. Put a little coating of oil on it. So we're going to do that as like shown. That way, you want to lubricate your drive shafts. That way it does not get rusted. Because the last thing you need is a rusty drive shaft when you go to clean and service the fan, like either months or even years later. So you want to make sure your drive shaft has enough oil. That way it makes it easier for the fan to operate properly. So now what we're going to do is we're going to reinsert our rear armature. We're going to insert the armature back into the motor. So yeah, what we're going to do is we're going to do it just like this. So you want to be very careful when you're doing this. You don't want to mess up your motor, because if you mess up the motor, then it'll not even be worth trying to repair or fix it. So now that we have our rear bearing in, we're going to go ahead and we're going to lubricate the front one here, and then we're going to reinsert. Then we're going to reinsert it back and secure it as needed. So we're going to go ahead and one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to lose your screws. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab my oil can, and we're going to go ahead and put some oil in the front here. You also want to do it on your, your sleeve as well. And we're going to do the same on the bearing. We're going to do the same on the drive shaft here. Lubricate it really well. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our two smaller screws and we're going to go ahead and secure them so now we are going to be reversing the process here. So we're going to go ahead and take my impact driver and we're going to screw them in. There we go. So usually you want to give it about two taps, about 2 pounds from the impact. So that way you're nice. Oh, we don't want to ruin our impact, so we'll go put it with the drill. So now we have this part taken care of here. We're going to go ahead and put the main screws back in here. So we're going to go ahead and line our screws up right here. And then we're going to take our 4 longer screws that we took out before. Just like this. And we're going to go ahead and screw them in as well. So now that our motor is now secured, we're going to go ahead and grab our blade, which is this guy right here. And what we are going to do is we are going to reinsert it onto the drive shaft. So we're going to do that like this. There we go. So now we're going to go ahead and reinsert our blade back onto the drive shaft. Now we're going to go ahead and start securing it down. So we're not going to put it on ridiculously tight. I'm only putting it on tight enough so that way the blade won't slip on the drive shaft. So now that we have that problem secured, now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and balance the fan. So we're going to go ahead and test it out here. Okay, so we can tell it's a little out of balance, so what we're going to do... Ooh, yeah, that spin down is rough. Sure, bring this blade forward a little bit. Okay, so we're also going to make sure all three of the blades are the same pitch. Which in this case, the pitching is spot on. And there we go. No vibration at all. Fan's in absolute perfect balance now. There we go. That's moving a lot of air too. Okay, good. Alright, so it's going to take a little bit for the bearings to break in, but we did lubricate the fan at least, so now it shouldn't have any problems. So now we're going to go ahead and reassemble the fan, and put the front guard back on, and then we'll proceed from there. So our front guard is back in place, so we're going to go ahead and put the 4 screws back in. So yeah, this fan wasn't as bad as the other ones. The other ones were pretty bad when I pulled them out of the box. This one just didn't have enough lubrication and minor balancing problems. But now we went ahead and fixed that, so alright, so we're going to go ahead and put the first 2 in. And there we go. We have just successfully balanced and oiled our new Mainstays 9-inch high velocity fan. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. And I hope you guys found this video very useful. Because a lot of times nowadays, you get a brand new fan, all of a sudden, next thing you know, it needs to be oiled already. You just pull it out of the box. So hey, when you're looking for a fan, be mindful of that. Just assume it's going to need oil as soon as it comes out of the box. And if it doesn't, then you're good. So anyway, thank you guys for watching this. And see you in the next video featuring this fan, which is the initial checkout.